Well this morning. I thought maybe I would just speak for a few minutes about mind, the nature of mind. It's so trippy. I found myself in a really deep funk yesterday, and partly I was tired. And then when you're tired, I think that the pull to the past exerts it's stronger. Like you kind of can't resist it. When you're tired, you don't have the life force to, in a sense, I guess, be in the present. I don't know. That's my experience anyways. It seems easier just to kind of collapse into past memories, past narratives about what's going on, catastrophic thinking, you know. And then it's a bit of a trap because you kind of land in the past. It feels like it's just true. Is what you're thinking about, what your mind is telling you, the stories are they're simply true. No. And even if another part of you says, I know this is bullshit, I've been down this road before, it's not the end of the world, you're going to come out of it. Yet I think there's a sense of being trapped in there. And then in the sense of being trapped and identified with the stories that mind is telling you, you bump yourself into the future, like either in terms of planning how to get out of this, creating scenarios of what's possible if you just do this, if you just do that, what's going to happen if you don't change things. And so that mind bounces you between the past and the future. And of course, neither one of those things is actually reality. It's like it's got nothing to do with what's actually happening now. But the past is embedded in our nervous system, and we recruit the mind that's now in the past to in the service of some kind of imagined future, which also isn't real. So it's like this mind that I'm talking about. And you could just say this is the mind of the people pleaser. It's you can generalize it, but this is what's going on also in the mind of when we're into that people pleasing mode. Is focused on survival. It is certain that it's screwed. That it's certain that what went on in the past, and it's actually creating the conditions for whatever went on in the past to happen again in the present. And then come to the conclusion that you can trust this mind because look what's happening to me. Not realizing that 9.8%, 99.8% of the time, we actually created the conditions to repeat what happened in the past. So this mind that I'm talking about, you can call it the mind of the ego, the mind of our nervous system, the mind of our memory, the past and future mind, is always about survival. And what it fears most is that if it's not active, if it's not going, it's not real. It's not going to. It's going to die. Like, so it's like flipping back into the past and then flipping from there into the future is kind of the activity of this mind, and it keeps going because of the fear of death. It won't survive silence. It fears that it won't survive actually just being here in the moment, experiencing life as it's arising right now. And in a way, it's true. But in one way or another, if you want to actually be free of that mind, you have to give up attachment to survival. It's like you can't control, what's going to happen. And if you spend your life trying to ensure the survival of this mind, or even your physical survival, it's there's no other mind that can come online until you let go of your attachment to survival, period. And that's why sort of all genuine spiritual experiences involve death. It kind of people who are going through it, and I've been with so many people who've been through it, and I've been through it myself. You're convinced that this is actually the end, but not just the end of this mind. It's interpreted by this mind as the end of you, of all reality. And so when Jesus talks about, if you want to enter the kingdom of God, you have to die and be born again. It's like, well, this is what he's talking about. He's talking about a death to this mind, but that it just feels like death, period. So when I talk about the shift into heart self, it's the mind of the heart. And the heart is not concerned with survival. It's concerned with other things. It's concerned first and foremost with just the experience of being alive. It's like, what's that like in this moment? Just to look out, see the ocean, feel the wind blowing through the trees, hear your 3-year-old wake up in the morning and just immediately start screaming in joy. Like, can you be with that? Or is your mind time traveling into the past, into the future? It's like, so you don't hear the wind in the trees. You don't see the ocean. You don't hear your daughter because you refuse to die. You're so attached to the survival of that mind. So this movement into heart self does involve a death, which is to say, losing the attachment to survival, period. It's like, what will happen, que sera, sera. What will be, will be. I can't control it. It's like, but I can be in this moment and trust life. And if that means like my physical death, then it does. I can't control that either. So it's like, what's the point of worrying? So this mind of the heart, first of all, I think is concerned with just experiencing life as it is right here, right now. It's like, oh. It just wants to breathe. It just wants to feel alive. And then when you feel alive, when you feel the breath of life coming through you, breathing you, it gives rise to gratitude. It's like, this is pretty cool. It's not always fun. It involves suffering, but I get to have the experience, the whole of it, whatever it brings. It's like, okay, like, I don't know for how long, but I'd rather be here than not here. Like, and if you'd rather not be here than here, then I think something's off. Like, I think fundamentally something you've been treated in such a way, and you've responded to that treatment in such a way that you just want sort of off planet. But I think that's an aberration. The authentic self just goes, wow, okay, I get to experience it all, big and small, good and bad, dark and light. I don't know what to make of it, but here we are experiencing it. And if we're willing to experience reality as it is, it's going to involve suffering, absolutely. But it's clean suffering. It's not the suffering that's caused by the refusal to suffer what's ours to suffer. It's clean. It's clean. It's like, okay, I'll undergo this too. I'll undergo reality as it is. But then if you agree to that, if you consent to it, submit to all of it, just submit to it, which is another way of talking about radical acceptance of things as they are. Just not wishing they were other than how they are. You know, if you submit to that process, then the true nature of this heart, the mind of the heart, if you like, comes online, which is compassion, which is what the Buddha discovered. That the more he was willing to undergo reality as it is and not live in the stories of the past or planning for the future and worrying about the future, which is to undergo reality, which is another way of talking about suffering, because part of undergoing reality as it is accepting suffering when it comes our way. It's like, whatever you mean by suffering, but the point being that gives rise to another characteristic of the heart self, which is compassion. It's like, because then you look out, your suffering is not just your suffering, it's like you're the localized presence of the big heart, the big mind of everything that is, and it's all undergoing reality as it is, and part of that is suffering. Part of that is death, it's like darkness, but your response to it is, again, not to flinch from it, but to accept it and undergo it as the localized presence of the big heart, the big mind. And so your heart just keeps opening in compassion. And that's another part of what it means to experience life, is feel gratitude. Well, first of all, to experience life, to be grateful for everything. And then when that involves suffering, is like, undergo it. And then your heart breaks. And then eventually, as I've talked about before, your heart gets as big as a universe. And you can take in the suffering of the whole universe, not just your own. So I think that's another characteristic of the heart self. It's infinitely expansive, because the heart self is what connects us to source, which is infinite. So this is what's at stake, when we're talking about ending people pleasing. It's like, okay, well, that's a frame. But what that represents, people pleasing, what it constitutes, if you like, is is an attachment to the egoic construction that we curated early on because of mistreatment. It's like, in the necessary strategy of protecting our heart from conditions which were not favorable, we effectively put a barrier in front of it so that we can't actually access that heart anymore. And then to protect ourselves from heartbreak, we try to figure out what everybody needs us to be, what everyone wants from us, what we need to do to not be rejected, to belong, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this happens at an individual level, but it also happens at a mass level, where everybody's asking, what position do I need to take on this issue in order to belong? Because I don't want my family to be mad at me. I don't want my friends to be mad at me. So I'll go along with this seems to be the consensus reality. And the result is that you're still, you're not living your own life. So the particular egoic construction that we're talking about in this mentorship is the people-pleasing thing. And that's, but what underlies that language and that framework is everything. It's like it's the big thing that we're doing. We're in undergoing the death of that construction. We're undergoing our attachment to mere survival. And as that attachment breaks, and we undergo the death of that mind and that construction, then heart, the mind of the heart comes on, and it's a different game, which I've described here. So the way I'm conceiving of this recently is that if you is to stay in the mind of the people pleaser, the mind of the ego, the mind of the nervous system that lives in the past and the present, is to break a sacred covenant with the soul and with source. So faithfulness requires a death to that, to be faithful in this life, to whatever we call that. It's a return to a sacred covenant, to be uniquely ourselves and to express ourselves, to trade in a life of self-justification, of proving ourselves continually for a life of self-expression. And when we do that, we're back in covenant. Because that's the other characteristic, I would say, of heart, the mind of the heart. It just wants to express what it's here to express. And that is to be in faithful covenant with our soul and with source. So our lives become just a journey of self-expression. And from the perspective of ego, we think, well, that's selfish. Oh, self-expression. Oh, well, no, we're talking about self-expression sort of, if you like, post-death. Then it's game on. It's like, okay, what wants to be expressed through me? What's my why? Figure out my why. And I'm going to do that, no matter how small a gesture it is or how big a gesture it is. It doesn't matter. It's just like, and then we can be animated by the life force or the sacred force or the divine life. But that will bear little resemblance to this curated ego. And I think that's what scares us.